Hi, I'm Michael Clark for The Road Trip, and we're here in California testing the new 2014 Jeep Cherokee. Now, as you can see, it looks very different from the Cherokees that we've known of in the past, especially the ones that most Canadians would remember, the ones that were born of 1984 and lasted all the way into the 1990s. That square box look that we have expected from Jeep design, well, as you can see, it's completely fallen away. But the question is, will Jeep capability fall away as well? Well, we're going to find out exactly whether or not these vehicles do live up to trail-rated capabilities here in California. And if you've got thoughts, feelings, or questions about anything Jeep Cherokee, ask the man who drove one. Send an email to steelbeltedmind@gmail.com. Buckle up, it's time for the road trip. The first thing you need to know about the Jeep Cherokee is the lighting story. Now, don't be hoodwinked by what you think might be the headlamp, because this particular strip up here, which looks like a refugee from a 1997 Intrepid, well, this is strictly your daytime running lamp assembly. This is your projector headlamp. And then, of course, below, the driving lamps on this particular US-based Latitude edition, which is known as the North in Canada. There's two engine choices for the 2014 Jeep Cherokee. This is the 3.2-liter Pentastar V6. Now, before you start saying that I don't know how to read, you have to know that there's a new version of the 3.6 Pentastar, and this is it. Slightly smaller, but still using the same 60-degree design of the 3.6-liter. Now, that design is important because it helps with the packaging in a vehicle of this size, which means that you actually can get access to the engine when it comes to servicing down the road. 271 horsepower, 239 foot-pounds of torque with this setup. It's mated to the 9-speed automatic transmission that was developed by ZF and built in the US of A. The 9-speed automatic can also be mated to the 2.4-liter multi-air 4-cylinder. That's the base engine. 184 horsepower and 171 foot-pounds of torque is what you get with that. And either engine can be mated to a 2-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive configuration. Now, while we're here, I wanted to point out a couple things that really got my attention for quality, and that's the fact that we're dealing with hydraulic struts, two of them to hold the hood aloft instead of the steel prop that we would normally see for this type of money. Now, I did notice that we've got really good weather sealing around the hood, which should contribute to keeping the engine bay fairly clean. The other thing that I noticed here, and you should be aware of, is that you may think you're pulling on the hood release, but you're pulling on one of the horns, so make sure that you're pulling in the right area to get that hood open. Otherwise, fluid levels are clearly marked, and there shouldn't be any concerns for accessibility for servicing down the road, as we mentioned. The battery, nice and up front. And as you'll notice, too, that the low set of the engine is going to help in respect to possible globalization of this vehicle, maybe with the Fiat badge down the road, because by putting the engine down low allows for more crush space in the hood, and that's a concern, especially for European crash tests when it comes to pedestrians.
So the Jeep active drive systems that are in the new Jeep Cherokee are state-of-the-art technology, unlike anything else that's in a product, a 4x4 today. There are 3 levels of the system that are offered. The first is a Jeep Active Drive 1. It's a single-speed power transfer unit that transfers the torque from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle to a rear drive module that then distributes the torque to the wheels. This is a fully automatic system. It requires no intervention from the driver to activate it. And it is an on-demand system. So when situations are such that 4x4 is not required, the vehicle will actually drive in front-wheel drive in order to optimize fuel economy. But when situations require that 4x4 performance is needed for capability and traction control, the system will engage. So it may be based on wheel slip, it may be based on cold temperature, it may be based on a trigger input of the windshield wipers indicating that it's raining and slippery. With that, the car will then go into 4x4 mode. The other thing that's very unique about this system is it has a rear axle disconnect. Now, when we say rear axle disconnect, you might think, well, the rear axle disconnects. And really on this system, what's advanced about it is that the disconnection happens at the power transfer unit that's at the front of the vehicle. So when it's disconnected, there's no loss through the driveline system that is bringing down the fuel economy or fuel efficiency of the vehicle. The prop shaft does not turn, it's disconnected at the rear. So in that mode, again, it is really driving as a front-wheel drive vehicle. Now, the second level of system that we have is Active Drive 2. It includes all the same things that I just explained, but it has a low gear with a 2.92 to 1 ratio. And what that allows is the Jeep Cherokee to have a crawl ratio of 56 to 1 on the 2.4 liter, which is 90% better than the outgoing Liberty model, and 48 to 1 on the 3.2 liter. So a lot of crawl capability, great for getting over those rocks. And the third system that we have is the Jeep Active Drive with lock. So similar to the Active Drive 2 system, it also has the low gear, it also has the rear axle disconnect, but what we've added on is a locking rear differential for optimum off-road performance. And that system is offered as standard on the Trailhawk model, which was purposely designed to go off-road.
Well, right out of the chute, our sport model starting at $23,495 really has a long list of standard equipment. It comes with a 2.4 multi-air engine, mated to a 9-speed transmission, and again delivering up to 44 miles per gallon. The vehicle is available in front wheel and 4-wheel drive, and just a long list of standard equipment such as power windows, locks, doors, air conditioning, 10 standard airbags. And again, when you go through and look at a few of the other items, such as a 5-inch touchscreen standard, remote keyless, again, a long list of standard features that really packs a lot of value into this vehicle. It does come standard with a 9-speed transmission as well. So again, when you put this whole package together, it really stands out from the competition in our opinion.
What I really like about what they've done inside the Jeep Cherokee is they're concentrating on their interior packaging. And that means things like changing the HVAC system's configuration behind the dash to a vertical arrangement. Now, doing things like that gives you very large glove boxes, such as this one in the Jeep Cherokee. Now, the other thing is, too, think of all the other places where you've got wasted space. One of them could possibly be underneath the passenger seat cushion, and that's exactly what we've got here on this particular version. Now, you flip this up in such a way that allows you to put things such as purses, anything else you want to keep away from pry bar eyes. The other thing that's really cool about it is it's been configured in such a way that it will actually hold a standard carry-out pizza box. So that'll keep things from jostling around while you're moving about, and maybe your pepperoni will actually stay on the entire pizza as opposed to one side. Now, Jeep realizes that active lifestyles, well, they can impact the whole family, and that even means your pup. This particular pet carrier, well, it can easily handle most larger dogs as well as bobcats, and it straps into the factory hold downs here. Very sturdy and definitely going to keep your special friend very safe. Okay, well, that's a good sign because we're actually dealing with some fold flattery in the second row. Now, remember, the front passenger seat can actually flip forward too to haul longer items. The thing I wanted to point out here on the driver's side of the cargo area wall is this cargo management system. Now, this isn't just a piece of plastic. This is actually a very robust steel attachment, and with the hooks that's attached to it, there's different types of accessories that you can mount to it. Everything from a tow rope kit to the Trailhawk to first aid kits, all sorts of items that have been tailor-made for this Cherokee cargo management system. Well, how's that for a very expansive use of the cargo space? And what I did notice about the cargo space opening is that it's very square, not rounded like some of the competition. Now, what I really like about this seat is that if you need to flip it forward for long items, it's one of the easiest out there. You don't have to do anything out of the ordinary to make it happen. In fact, I'm going to pop it back into place here, and all you have to do is reach down to a separate lever, flip it forward, and that's how easy it is. About the only thing I'd like to see happen is something a little bit more robust in respect to protecting it from cargo. But, well, the rest of the area is carpeted, so I guess I can't get everything. I did want to mention one thing to the Jeep design team, because this particular cargo area cover is so robust, I think it needs legs for picnicking.
Another story we're really proud of in the Cherokee, as well as the big brother, the Grand Cherokee, is what we've now done with materials. You know, in the past there was maybe a touch too much gray in our interior, a little bit loveless, but we really turned that into advantage now by giving Jeep its really truly unique story. We're not seeking inspiration in man-made materials or fashion anymore, but we look at destinations on the planet around the world that kind of speak the Jeep language. That could be the Grand Canyon, where we remove the chrome and we put in copper, because you don't see chrome in the Grand Canyon. It's all warm tones. In case of the Cherokee, a nice dark toned brown interior with warm finishes. Whether it is other places like Mount Vesuvio, my personal favorite, which is a volcano in Italy. And when you go there and you see these earth tones and the blue tones, and then if you're unfortunate or lucky enough, you see the smoke coming out of the volcano, this white smoke. So we took those colors and we almost used it as we orchestrated them into an overall package, and you find that in the Cherokee, the Vesuvio package, a combination of dark blues, dark browns with nice white accent stitching.
Here's a new first for the Chrysler Group, appearing on the 2014 Jeep Cherokee. Now, the available Park Sense parallel system works much like the systems we've seen on vehicles like the Ford Escape. But here's where it gets interesting, because there's a perpendicular park assist system that is included with the parallel capabilities. What happens is that the graphics displayed on the gauge cluster show you exactly where the spot is that you want to back into. The neat thing is it does it between two graphics of 1941 Willys Jeeps. All you have to concern yourself with is the throttle and the brake. The steering is completely automatic, much like the other systems that we've tested. In our time in California, we did find that it worked quite well. Now, the one thing we want to caution everyone about with these systems is that you still have to be engaged with the throttle and the brake. Don't take a break from paying attention. And again, we love those 1941 Jeeps.
9-speed wasn't a target when we originally set out to select a new transmission for the new Jeep Cherokee. What the target was improved fuel economy. And the byproduct of improved fuel economy was a 9-speed transmission. The current portfolio of transmissions that are out there in industry are primarily 6 speeds. And as a company, we've already demonstrated with the products that we've recently introduced in the Chrysler 300 and Charger, and the Grand Cherokee, and the Ram, an 8-speed transmission. This is a transmission we partnered with ZF, Germany-based ZF company, and that's a proven product, and the 8 gears have certain attributes that are both benefits to the customer for feel, refinement, driving comfort, as well as fuel economy. So the idea at the very beginning was we needed to do something that would put us into a leading position for those key elements.
Now, a lot of people know that I'm a stickler for corrosion protection, and everything I've seen so far on the Jeep Cherokee is giving me cause to believe that it's going to look good for the long haul. There's good seam sealer along the bottoms of the doors, and there's also the protective coverings on the outside to keep the stone chips down to a minimum. I think this is going to stay very clean looking for the warranty period at least. There's plenty of smart storage solutions inside the Jeep Cherokee. The center console is ample with cable pass-throughs, USB, as well as 12-volt power. There's a cubby to the left of the driver on the dashboard, and the steering wheel is following the new designs from Chrysler Group, including switchgear that's absolutely exquisite. The front seat backs have been sculpted to allow for more room for second-row passengers. The rear window is of the proper size, especially when the rear seat backs are in position. You don't necessarily have to remove the headrests to actually see out of the vehicle. The usual features exist, such as auto headlamps, backlit vanity mirrors, as well as a self-dimming rear view mirror. Here's an unexpected feature, and that is the manual height adjustment for the passenger side seat. The controls for parking assists are easily found, and the Uconnect touchscreen is one of the easiest to manipulate. Even an electronic parking brake is found inside the Jeep Cherokee, as well as redundant controls for the HVAC.
The new Jeep Cherokee doesn't look like the one from 15 years ago. It's got fresh styling. We think it will stand out in the marketplace. And many of the features and capabilities of the Jeep Grand Cherokee are now available in the Cherokee. So the incredible capability that you get in a Jeep Grand Cherokee, 100% of that's available in the new Cherokee. Also, the refinement of the Grand Cherokee today, the soft touch materials throughout the interior, the luxury materials, available 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen. A lot of those interior features on our Jeep Grand Cherokee available in the new Cherokee. And then a long list of safety equipment as well, so that when you add up the capability, the refinement, and the safety features available in the new Cherokee, available at $23,495, and at the same time delivering up to 44 miles per gallon, we think we have a very compelling package for Canadians.
With a starting price under $24,000 for the 4x2 and the capability of the active drive, four-wheel drive coming in at just under $26,000 with the 2.4 multi-air, the Jeep Cherokee for 2014 is definitely going to attract a lot of attention to people who have been thinking about something in this class. Now, the only thing that I would caution from our drive is make sure that you don't opt for the white stitching on the dashboard. It's really going to get in the way of your vision. As for power, I was actually quite surprised at how well the 2.4 liter did. And we're talking Mulholland Drive. That 9-speed automatic is a shifty treat. That's the best thing I can call it. And ZF has really done their homework on the design. It's already started me thinking about when we're going to see this 9-speed automatic in other cars. Could it possibly make its way into the Dodge Dart sometime soon? And there's also talk of there being a replacement for the Journey that could be based on the CUS-wide architecture that underpins this particular Cherokee, as well as a slightly revamped version for the Dodge Dart. Now, I have to say that the one that's really got my attention, without having to look like a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, is the Trailhawk Edition. Now, for under $31,000, having that extra capability, real capability, trail-rated capability, that's my choice when it comes to the Jeep Cherokee. Now, if you've got thoughts, questions, or feelings about anything to do with the 2014 Jeep Cherokee or anything automotive, send an email to steelbeltedmind@gmail.com. From California, I'm Michael Clark. Keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. For 2014, the Dodge Durango is going through the mid-cycle enhancement that is required for many vehicles as they go through their particular platform life. Now, the one thing that you're going to notice as to the differences is things such as the color influx on this particular RT on the lower air dam. Now, the crosshair grille has been a design element of the Dodge Durango, and it continues in various forms of body color and also bright finish depending on which trim level that you go for. Now in Canada, the base trim level is the SXT, and that's starting at $39,995. And you can take it all the way up to vehicles such as this 5.7 Hemi equipped RT Durango or the highfalutin Citadel edition. The first thing you need to know about the 2014 Dodge Durango is the engine choices. Now, under the hood of this RT, we have the standard engine for the RT, and that's the 5.7-liter Hemi V8. It's good for 360 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque. Now, if you go with the Hemi, you get one of the best towing capacities in the class, and that's 7,200 pounds in Canada, because remember, in Canada, the Durango is only available in four-wheel drive. Now, it's mated to the 8-speed torque flight that we've seen on other vehicles such as the Ram 1500. The 8-speed automatic can also be set up with the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6. Now, that's good for 290 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque. But don't think that you really let off anything with going with the V6, because it is actually one of the best for efficiencies. In fact, it is already being touted as being able to have a 1,000-kilometer cruising range. Now, they haven't brought in anything yet like the auto stop-start systems of particular Ram trucks, but consider that even with the V6, the Durango still has best-in-class towing, over 6,000 pounds.
The full-size CUV and SUV segments in Canada represent about 6.5% of the industry, and we're really excited about the 2014 Dodge Durango coming out. It's been totally redone for the 14 model year. New exterior appearance with the front, the rear, and again, bringing forward new technologies such as with projector headlamps, LED daytime running lights. We've introduced our signature Dodge racetrack tail lamps in the back. So again, 192 LED lights that light up the night, and that's what you see and the people behind you see as they're traveling behind you. So a real rich appearance. The Durango has a real performance stance to it as well, and again, that's what Dodge is about with performance. But at the same time, on the interior has been completely redone as well, and people buying in this segment, they are really looking for best of both worlds, from capability, which we offer with the award-winning Pentastar V6, as well as the available legendary Hemi engine that when mated with this brand new 8-speed transmission that we have included in this vehicle, it does the job for towing as well, with best-in-class towing of 7,200 pounds. On the interior, it's been completely redone as well. So bringing the latest technologies inside with our 7-inch TFT cluster, which gives the consumer the ability to totally customize the cluster in front of them when they're driving. New steering wheel with all new easy to reach features for hands-free communication, etc. And also the big 8.4 touchscreen radio that's in there, available navigation system, etc. So again, we're really bringing technology to this. And from a value standpoint, we've launched this year. It starts under $40,000 at $39,995, and we've introduced the new limited model coming in at $43,995, right at the heart of the market, which introduces you with leather seats and a whole number of standard equipment that hits right in the heart of this segment.
The second thing you need to know about the 2014 Dodge Durango is the abilities it has for cargo. Now, more often than not, especially in a vehicle like this RT edition, we're not going to get the capabilities that allow us to bring the seat forward for the front passenger, especially if you've got long items such as ladders or canoes or other things that make you sweat. Now, what I like about this setup is that the lever, which is also the manual recline lever for the front passenger, passenger seat. Well, it's a very simple operation to get this particular seat back to fold flat. Simply flip forward, down it goes, and it's also equipped with a robust back covering. So this is something that I'd actually like to see get into other Chrysler vehicles such as the Jeep Cherokee that's just been introduced. For the mid-cycle enhancement for the 2014 Dodge Durango, you're going to notice a few things that definitely seem to have been sculpted just that little extra bit. Now, you're dealing with a lot of soft-touch materials throughout, and that's definitely appreciated. There's no stitching up top on the dash pad, which is good because sometimes in a contrasting color, that can actually get into your field of vision. Now, the thing that you need to know about here with the wheel is that it has been sculpted. It doesn't look like the same carryover from other truck-like products from the Ram brand. It's very classy, has easy-to-access keyed features for cruise control, voice commands, phone, and also the driver information screen. Now, on this particular cluster, that's a 7-inch job, and it gives you everything from the most basic of just having the speed in a digital format, but then you can introduce other things into it and basically have it as populated or as unpopulated as you like, depending on the driving information that you like to get. Now, here's the thing that I wanted to point out when it comes to vehicles in the class. And you'll notice that when you're holding the wheel and in spirited driving motions, that in some cases with competitive set vehicles, you're going to find your elbow is going to be whacking against this center console. Well, that's not the case here with the Durango, and it's very much appreciated. Now, what they've done with the 8-speed automatic shifter, now the Ram 1500 has the same type of dial shifter. Well, what they've done is they've taken that dial and they've dialed it in here on the center console, so it's very easy to access. Now, if you need a little bit of comfort, the armrest is definitely well padded for those long road trips. And here's something that a lot of manufacturers miss, and that's going with good depth cup holders, but also having spring cinchers on this front console array. Ahead of those is a handy input for your audio auxiliary input. If you just have the simple jack, there's a USB input as well as SD card and adjacent power outlets. So you're able to plug that in easily. And the other thing that really kind of brings that class level up, especially once you start getting up into the MSRP, is things like the push-button start on the Dodge Durango. This one, the RT, is actually also equipped with the power tilt and telescope. Good driving position, and also the daylight opening on the Dodge Durango is one of the better ones out there, especially when we're talking about the third row panes that a lot of manufacturers seem to shrink and start to rely too much on the nannies. But we do have the nannies here, such as lane departure warnings is something coming up next to you, blind spot information, collision mitigation. So everything that you've been expecting to see and get as additional equipment sets on these types of SUVs, it's all here for 2014 for Durango. Well, that's my look at the 2014 Dodge Durango, and I got to tell you, it's a bit of a brute, but at the same time, considering that it borrows from a lot of Mercedes-Benz technology underneath for the underguts, you're actually getting quite a value here, even though it's at a price point that seems a little bit on the high side. But remember that in Canada, vehicles of this size tend to transact around $43,000, which explains the new price point for the new limited model. I'm thinking that the 3.6 is probably going to be enough, but there's definitely something bad cop about the RT with the 5.7 Hemi. And with the other efficiencies available, such as Eco Mode, you might actually get quite good numbers out of it. Plus, remember, 7,200 towing pounds, that definitely will make for a great road trip vacation. Also, remember, third row is one of the most comfortable, which means your elbows aren't going to be in cup holders, so keep that in mind. And if you've got questions, thoughts, or feelings about anything Durango, send an email to steelbeltedmind@gmail.com. For the road trip, I'm Michael Clark. Keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down.